Hey guys, Tricap John coming at you with another Awakened Chaos Era video. So today's video we're going to be talking about is going to be what characters I think that are guaranteed, they're okay to take to 60. And we're going to kind of talk about each character and about where you're going to use them. I'm going to try to keep it brief. There's about 20 characters I have on the list. Something to take away, and as a note really quick before we get into the video, this does not include any legendary characters. I will do a separate video on legendary characters because I feel like that requires more of a deeper guide as to explaining why you take them to 60 and justify all the extra things that go with them. I know a lot of people are new players and they're really not sure who's worth 60ing and where they're going to use them later on in the content if they're not using them right now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fly through these champions really quickly. I just wanna make a quick disclaimer that this is, just as a reminder, this is only gonna be your epics and some elite champions that are gonna be always worth it to take to 60. We're gonna talk really briefly about where you're gonna use this potential character at and why it's okay to go ahead and level them up and max them out. Okay, so first things up, first champion is William. Most of you know William is a SS tier champion. He's an amazing kit. Great synergy, works really well in a lot of different places. You're going to be using William all over the place. So the reason why is he has a defensive down for one. It's AoE damage. His A2 is a defensive up. That's the strong one. Along with a counterattack, which can all be put on, like counterattack is team wide. Defense up can be put on one person. Pairs really well with Natalia. Definitely see my epic video on William. Next, we have his A1, deal 50% damage to an enemy and launches a joint attack with a random ally. Literally, it's a joint attack ability. Great ability. It brings in, it synergizes really well with other players, that have a joint attacks, especially with that counterattack. Passive trait. The abilities, or basic abilities of all team members deal 40% more damage. This is the base one. 60% more damage if you get him ascended. That in itself is well worth it. It's essentially just having a lot more boosted damage on your team. All right, moving on. The next one is going to be Jacob. Jacob's going to be a very undersought after character, and I really feel like a lot of people are just kind of sleeping on him. And the reason being is not everyone really understands what this whole A3 does here for you. The reason why he's going to be worth taking to 60 is because he's going to be a guild boss expert. You're going to use him guaranteed in your wood guild boss. He's going to pair so nicely with a lot of other champions. Granted, yes, there's strats out there with like Antonua and other characters. The problem is a lot of those you have to manual. Jacob, you do not need to manual Jacob. He is an auto champion on the guild boss. I threw up about 500,000 damage last time with just Jacob and a couple other ally attackers. I'm going to do a comp on it next time wood boss comes up. Very sought after character and very good character for that content, as well as Endless Trials. I use Jacob a lot in because he pairs nicely with my Imogen and my Scarlet, so that way I can just do a quick joint attack on the whole entire team and destroy and knock out Endless Trials. All right, next we're going to be talking about is going to be Auroch. Now we're going to come back. There's two characters that are going to be notables, but I want to bring them up right now because they're not going to be guaranteed 60s all the time. But right now, Auroch, he's going to be a guaranteed 60, and I'm going to kind of explain why very quickly. One, let's look at his ultimate ability. 4-turn cooldown, removes all positive effects from a target, then deals 200% damage. Damage from this attack scales with the target's max HP. He's one of the few champions in the game where his damage scales with the enemy's max HP. It makes him very powerful and potent for bosses. Amazing boss character. He does work well in the guild boss as well. It's kind of a fixed amount of damage that he can really do until you get to the higher tiers, so it's kind of hard to get the major utility out of him in guild boss. But I use him a lot for clearing waves. Like, he's going to be part of a video that I have for like mythic farming, wave clearing, because what happens is he can use this ability, and you pair that with his trait here is when attacking, there's a 30% chance to combo and deals 30% damage to all enemies. Crit rate increases to 100%. If you have him ascended here, there's a 30% chance to combo and 50% damage to all enemies. So essentially, when you make him crit, there's a good chance that he's going to do like an AoE damage, and it does make a big difference. He will destroy your enemies for you. All right, the next one we're going to talk about, and once again, like I was saying earlier with Jacob, Jacob's pairs really well with this character Scarlet. The reason why he pairs so well with Scarlet is because she does almost a similar type of a trait. She does a ally attack with her wolf. Any attack against the enemy affected by bleeding triggers bonus wolf attack, transfer lethal damage against this character to any wolves present. Literally, if she goes to die and has a wolf out, she's not going to die. Anyone attacks a character that has a bleeding on them, the wolf is going to attack with her. So it just makes the wolf do so much damage. It's like having multiple joint attacks, which also procs more joint attacks for different skills. It's really her abilities here work so well in tandem. And the nice thing is bleedings. Look at bleed. At the end of the turn, deals damage based on caster's attack. So you build her an all attack set with some focus and some HP, and she is just going to sit back, relax, put all the bleeds up, and let her wolf go to town. Now, yes, she can sometimes not be the ideal character in most situations, but you pair her with the right people like Jacob, she's going to definitely decimate your guild boss. She's going to decimate Endless Trials. She's going to definitely help you a little bit in other content. I have tried to team out with her, Imogen, and Jacob. It works really, really well for mythic farming as well. It's pretty quick. So there's strategies that you can use her in. She's definitely not going to be one of those when you take her to 60, you're not going to go, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. All right, moving on. We have the next one. Now the next one is very, I don't know how to say it. This one gets both looked over and is highly sought after, if that makes sense. So I like Marion Shadowblood. I need to build her on my account. She was actually my carry during the betas. I played the betas. I loved Marion. Her kit was very cool. It was very solid. The reason why you're going to be willing to go ahead and update or upgrade her to 60 is because all of her kit pretty much takes care of itself. It's very sustainable and it really helps for like cleansing and different strategies. Like you could definitely run her in Ash Magistrate, which I'm working on a comp right now to do a video on. There's other content as well that I could see her being viable in. And the reason why is because she does this, deal 100% damage to all enemies plus true damage equal to 8% of the target's max health, applies Unholy Redemption to this character. Unholy Redemption is literally a lifesteal ability, and she gets a mitigation of damage on her. So she can take hits as well as she can deal out a little bit of damage. It's AoE. That also goes off the enemy's max HP. So she can definitely do some damage for you. She also has this lovely passive, which is removes all negative effects, deal 100% damage to an enemy after healing by 30% of max health. Okay, so literally every 4 turns, she's going to come in here, she's going to cleanse herself. She's going to deal 100% damage to an enemy and then healing by 30% of the max HP. Very nice. A1, deal 50% damage to an enemy plus true damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP. This is true damage. It doesn't ignore everything. I know, don't get distracted by the 50% damage. 3% true damage is what really matters there. All right, and then the passive grants this character a 30% chance of launching a joint attack alongside the attack of an ally. Hey, what were we just talking about earlier with Jacob and Scarlet? Thinking there's a pattern with these joint attack teams, guys. Definitely do not sleep on Marion Shadowblood. Okay, moving on. We have Santis is next on the list. Now, I probably don't need a deep dive into Santis too awful much. I feel like she's probably been talked about, beat the horse about a lot. Most of you guys know why Santis is good in the game. We're going to talk about very briefly, but that's going to be it. She's going to be good almost everywhere because of the poisons. She's AoE poison. She has a poison transfer to other random enemies. All of her abilities do a poison, and her passive allows her that she can place an additional poison once you get her ascended. Very, very helpful. I definitely love her kit. I love her abilities. She is super useful. Definitely one of the, if not the first, second, or third character that use 60. Definitely one of those up there in the list. Mainly just because you get her to 60, you can make her sustain that much longer and survive. Then you don't have to worry about her because she's going to sit back and slowly burn down the enemies for you. All right, the next character we're going to talk about is going to be Andre. Now, a lot of people have looked at me and said, I don't know about Andre. He's not the best character in the game. Well, no, he's not, but he's pretty good. So the reason being is his A3 ultimate here deals 250% damage to an enemy and grants +2 rage, 1 rage per critical strike. So yes, you make him crit, okay? He does a lot of rage. If he has rage, if this character has rage, then grants +30% crit damage. If not, then attacks have 50% chance to reduce their ultimate cooldown by 1. Literally, if he does not have rage on him, he's going to have a 50% chance to reduce his ultimate, so he can proc his ultimate that much faster. If he does have rages on him, he's going to get a 30% crit damage boost. Okay? Think about that. That's a lot of crit damage. And then if you have him ascended down here, it's a 50% crit damage boost. Okay? Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this to you. So yes, he can definitely do some damage. All this kit is really well. I am currently using him on my free-to-play, and he is making a lot of progress for me. Okay, moving on. We have Valuk, who's also in the faction. Now, Valuk is going to be one of those that's going to be a him and a ha. The only reason why you take Valuk to 60 is because, yes, you can use him in Queen of Tides. You can use him in, I think I've seen him in Witch of the Winds. I have also seen him in a couple of strategies in Ash Magistrate, as well as in Tulpa. I have not seen him in Gemini Dragon yet, but I feel like he probably could. The reason why he is good is because, one, he has his poison ability here, which is an AoE. Okay. Well, sorry, no. His poison is A1. His A3 is just damage, and that goes off the number of poisons. No one really uses him for damage. I have tested him a little bit with my current team. He does do a little bit of damage when you scale the poisons, but not enough to make it worth it to really focus on this ability. The biggest thing is he can do some poisons on his A1. His A2 lets him counterattack with accuracy down for 1 turn. Accuracy down helps benefit you in the long run to have that on your enemies. On top of, he's wood element, so chances are you can usually gear him correctly to where you can have the mercy spell on him. So that way he'll take the hits and then he'll have that spell on him to keep him from dying. All right, moving on. The next one we're going to talk about is Antinua. Now, she is basically the free character that you get right now. She is part of the $1 pack that you get for free for spending money in the game. She's great. Her kit is really weird to read and understand. The biggest takeaway here is she does a lot of damage. She's also going to be an amazing guild boss damage dealer. Once again, there are comps out there where she is used and she does like almost 900 million damage. Or no, 900,000 damage. Yeah, almost 1 million damage. And it comes mostly off of Antinua. Okay, so I want you to think about this. This one character that's kind of free, you get her at the beginning. She will help you in the guild boss comp so much, especially on the water guild boss, because she's just going to scale. And the water guild boss doesn't hold debuffs as well. So it's really nice that you have this kind of character who's going to just keep blasting off their abilities. That really is going to allow her to do a lot more damage. All right, moving on. We have one of my favorite girls in the game, and that's going to be Winstrix. Now, Winstrix is one of those. She is on the 60 list. However, if we go to look at my Winstrix right now, she is not level 60. She is level 50. I'm slowly starting to change my mind about I should need to go ahead and just 60 her. I've been doing my DPS units first because obviously, guys, you can wait to do your support units to 60. But she is one of them she's just so well-rounded and so viable and so much content that you can use her in campaign farming, right? She's going to be a speed up for you with this A3 ability, okay? You're going to use her in Doom Tower, almost guaranteed. Doom Tower, amazing character in Doom Tower. Also amazing in Endless Trial. Because you're doing one battle in Endless Trial, she always has her ultimate ready, allows you to just immediately go first, nuke everybody down. Absolutely love Winstrix. You're not going to really use her in a whole lot of dungeons, and that's okay. But you're going to use her in almost all the other content everywhere else because of her A3. She's going to reset an ultimate. And when using an ability, there's a 50% chance to reduce its basic cooldown time by 1 turns. Literally, like, that in itself is amazing. Can literally reduce the cooldown of an ability. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the next character, and that is going to be Rodira. Now, the reason why Rodira is on the list for 60 is because her HP is fairly low. As you see here, her HP is at a base of 4,900. Her HP is so low that it's kind of worth it to take her to 60 because you're going to be using her in Queen of Tides. I've seen people use her in Tulpa, Ash Magistrate. Also in the Witch of the Winds, I've seen her used. I've also seen her in the Void Tower being used because of the cleanse ability and the heal. So the reason why she's on the 60 list is because right there is 4 strong places that you're going to farm that she can be slotted into as part of the team. Not only is that, she is an elemental healer. She is the Wood Affinity elemental healer. And you definitely want to make sure that you have one of each element as a healer, just so that way you can always counteract any of your potential enemies. Okay. Next on the list is going to be Ricard. Now, our boy Ricard, it's kind of a no-brainer as to why he needs to be 60, and that's because the higher he goes, the more damage he does. His ability, the one that really matters, is deals total true damage equal to 80% of this character's max health to all enemies. This literally means, guys, literally, so whatever his max health is at the time, he's going to do 80% of this in true damage. So say, for example, you get him to, I'm trying to think of a round number. Say somehow you manage to get him to 100,000. He's going to do 80,000 damage as an AoE damage. Yes, you will not get 100,000. I understand that. That was just a sought after thing. 80, I didn't want to do math. Okay, math is hard sometimes. Even though I'm an applications engineer, I do math all day, every day. Sometimes it's a little rough to do math. But anyways, 80% of his HP goes to all enemies. It's a true damage, so it ignores everything. He is a massive tank. He's kind of like a cheat code. Definitely worth taking to 60 because it makes his ability hit that much harder. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be Hackrin. Now, Hackrin is one of those twofold ones. A lot of people know about Hackrin, and what you guys know, what I hear a lot of talk about is his trait. Yes, his trait is great. It's amazing. Grants team-wide defense bonus equal to 20% of this character's defense rating. That's when you get him ascended. You can synthesize him, so you should always have him ascended for sure. This is not why you use him. Really, you use him for his A3, which is deals 150% damage to an enemy and grants max health up to all team members, max 3 stacks. Literally means 45% health increase. That's, to break that down for you, that's one piece of 15 gear that's 6-starred. That gives you 40% plus an extra 5%. This is just off of his ability, for one. On top of that, yes, you do get the defense boost. Plus, his A1 has a taunt. No, sorry. His A2 has a taunt. His A1 will allow him to potentially do another cooldown of his ultimate, allowing him to do more damage. I use my Hackrin and Curse gear, and I like it because it cycles through a lot, and Hackrin can actually do some damage. You're going to use Hackrin in dungeons such as Queen of Tides, Witch of the Winds. Not really Tulpa. I don't see him used in Tulpa much. Ash Magistrate, probably not. He's amazing in Void Tower for when you have non-DPS Void Tower. He's also really, really good in Endless Trial if you just want to do a defense team, sit back, relax, and let them sort it out themselves. Very, very powerful unit. Definitely worth the 16 at any point in time in the game. The next one that we're going to talk about is probably the one of the most important ones in my opinion. If you get into Thalia, if you start off with a brand new account and you get into Thalia, she is an immediate take her to 60. The reason being is her ultimate. She does a lot of damage. If she kills somebody, her ultimate is reset. Her A2 allows her to proc an attack up and immune on herself, which is 2 buffs. Keep that in mind because for each buff she has, she becomes an AoE damage dealer. And once you get her ascended, every buff adds 10% extra attack. Amazing ability, amazing character. You want to take her to 60 as fast as you can. Highly recommend that. I don't think anybody out there would disagree that she needs to go to 60. All right, next, moving on, it's going to be Borden. Now, this is going to be a little controversial as well, but I hate this character. I'm not a fan of him. I don't like his animations. I don't like the way he looks, to be 100% honest. I don't. It's something about him bugs me. Maybe I don't like pirates. I don't know. Anyways, deals 200% damage to an enemy. Damage scales with the amount of health lost by the enemy. Ability ignores the target's invincible, death immunity, and guard effects. Yes, that means Niklaus ignores. This literally means guard effects. So start of the battle, someone has guard set on them, which gives a shield. Ignores it. Okay. Very, very good. The next thing is grants an ultimate ability cooldown reset. That's an immediate bonus turn when an enemy's health falls below 50%. So literally, say you nuke someone down, they go below 50%. Well, here comes Borden to follow up on the attack, okay? That can literally, like, if you skill Borden correctly and you put him with a good nuker, they are a gruesome duo, okay? So that's why he is amazing. I personally don't use him. I'm not a fan of him, but I can't argue with that. He has the kit to be worth taking to 60, and you're going to use him in well, mythic farming. You're going to use him in endless trials. You're definitely going to use him in arena. He's an amazing arena champion. And I think last but not least is you're probably going to take him in Void Tower once you get to a certain point, because he's going to be a good DPS unit. If you get a good nuker that just can't quite finish him off, You bring in Borden. Borden's going to proc with when they lower the health down below the 50%, and he may finish them off for you. So that's why he's definitely worth it. All right, we're getting close to the end here, guys, and we're almost saving the best for last. So let's go ahead and talk about this. We're going to save the best for last, but first let's talk about Azrina. Azrina is worth a 60, and she's conditional. If you don't have a Scarlet, I like Scarlet over Azrina myself. Hit-wise, though, her ignites are amazing. She is a multi-hitter. Which can be played out so many different ways with multi-hit abilities, right? Ignite scales off of her attack, okay? Now it's at the start of the turn versus at the end of the turn, right? Bleed is at the end of the turn. Ignite is at the start of the turn, deals damage based on the caster's attack. This is literally sometimes night or day when fighting an enemy. So you can't make it till the end of their turn, then Ignite's gonna be better for you, okay? That's the difference between Ignite and Bleeding. Now, she does ignites everywhere on all of her abilities. She's an AoE damage dealer. And then also her trait here is this character counterattacks with 50% damage plus ignite for 2 turns, can only be triggered once per 3 rounds. So literally when she does a counterattack, she's gonna go in there and she's gonna put ignites on just as a counterattack. So she's literally gonna control the fire and do a lot of damage for you. She's easy to get. Well worth it for a fire damage dealing unit. I have used her in Guild Boss as well. I did like her in Guild Boss until I got Jacob and Scarlet built correctly. All right, moving on, the last but not least is gonna be our boy Zatlux. Now, almost everybody knows why Zatlux is good, but let's talk about him. He is a 60 guaranteed because of multiple things. 1, his passive grants plus 30% crit rate and plus 30 precision. Okay, you need 70% crit rate on him to crit cap him. Awesome. Next ability, his ultimate. Oh, but wait, there's more. Deal 200% damage to an enemy plus bonus damage. The fewer the enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage dealt. If this ability kills the target, then launches a bonus attack against the enemy with the lowest HP. Literally, if he goes in and he kills somebody, okay, he's gonna go, oh, I'm gonna get a buff and I'm gonna go kill someone else. And he's literally gonna take the weakest on the list. Lowest HP up to the highest HP. Each time he gets a kill, he gets a damage buff. That's literally this right here. So upon defeating an enemy, resets all this character's abilities cooldowns. Well, there's that one. But when he's ascended, upon defeating an enemy, resets all this character's ability and grants attack up for 1 turn. So he literally gets a plus 30% attack by killing somebody and moving on to the next target, which keeps his ultimate alive, which allows him to keep proccing this over and over and over again. I have countlessly used him in Mythic. I have used him in I use him in my dungeon runs. I use him in Endless Trial. I use him in Void Tower. Literally, you are not going to regret 16 this character. There's nothing about him that you're going to regret with 16 him. Him and Nathalia are my 2 most recommended characters to get to 60. The next one we're going to talk about, and man, I'm getting winded, is going to be notable characters. Now, when I say notable characters, this literally means these are characters that you don't have to take them to 60, but they would be worth it. And the reason being is pretty simple. So let's talk about the first one. We're going to talk about Rog. Rog has a unique kit. Deal 100% damage to an enemy. This attack deals bonus damage based on this character's max health. Once again, max HP, it's 100% damage. It's only single target, it's not AoE. But because it goes off his max health, you can make him super strong and he can be a very strong nuker. The thing or the reason why he gets brought up as far as why he's viable is you need single target DPS characters of each element. Rog fits that bill with this ability here because you can get his HP up pretty high and make him do a lot of damage. Also, he has a regenerate health ability that's literally a 2-turn cooldown here, right? That's 30% HP. Pretty good. So every 2 turns, he can get 30% HP back. He's going to heal himself. He has a taunt, which isn't necessarily like the end game, like you don't really care so much about that, but he's already gonna have a lot of HP. So if he lands that taunt, that is very helpful for you. And then he also has this ability. This ability I really, really like, and that's counterattacks with a damage equal to 6% of max HP. So this is literally, if you do put a taunt on him, they attack him, he's gonna do up to 10% max HP back to them, which literally means if someone attacks him 10 times without healing, Rog's gonna kill him. So This is pretty cool. I do want to test this on a team with like a Scarlet or a Jacob or an Imogen to see how well this procs. But Rogue is one of those notables that he's worth taking to 60 if you were to invest in him. All right, the next one we're going to talk about, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it, it's going to be our boy Gahar. The reason why he's a notable is because the only reason you're using Gahar is for this detonate. That's it. He's not going to do a whole lot of damage for you. You're not going to build him as a damage unit. You're going to literally build him as a poison, poison detonator, as well as basically just with poison teams. That's what you're going to use him for. And I don't blame you. It is what it is. This is really where he thrives. This is his niche, so to speak. I don't think that it's worth it to take him to 60 all the time, just because, yeah, he is essentially a support character. His health is already rated as an A, which means it's not going to be that hard to rank up and scale up his HP. That's why he's okay being at 50. But if you have the resources, you have an event where you have to level up characters, he is definitely on the list as a notable to go ahead and take up to 60. All right, I think we have one last one, and he's going to be kind of the same thing, kind of the same reasoning as far as why you would take him up to 60. And that is going to be one of our starting healers, and that will be our boy Connor, if I can find him. Where you at, Connor? Here it is. Okay, he's also a notable 60, and that's because his ability here is literally heals all team members, healing skills with this character's attack. You want to build him with as much attack as possible. That way he does the biggest heals for everybody. The reason why he's a notable is because he's not the end-all be-all for healers, so to speak. But I mean, he will definitely play a major role in your account. I don't like that it's a 5-turn cooldown on his heal. I think the devs really need to lower that to a 4-turn to really balance him out. Also, I don't know what the shield strength is, even though when it gets maxed out, I don't feel like it's that high, to be 100% honest with you guys, but it is very helpful. Like, this ability here is amazing. His A2 does work for you. And then obviously his trait here, plus 20% attack, gives you more HP back for your heals, which is great. And that's the argument as to why you would go ahead and take him up to 60, is because it will make his base attack higher. So then his attack is going to scale higher with the gear that you put on him. One other notable character that we're going to talk about, and this literally will be the last one, it's going to be Charles. Now, I would definitely say this would be like the last 60 you make just on a whim. Mainly because, yes, he can do some crazy things. He can do a lot of damage because he's a defensive based character. So he's going to be super, super tanky. And that's all you're going to need to do. You're going to need to give him some crit rate, crit damage, and then defense, lots and lots of defense. Here's the problem. You need end game gear for this guy to go in and do some of the stuff that we use him for. You need very, very good defensive gear to go and solo Queen of Tides with this guy. He's situational, and that's why I say he's like probably the last 60 you do, because he's not going to be the pivotal character that you use to really say, hey, I'm going to clear all this content and I'm going to use this guy. So that's why you kind of want to take a step back and go, okay, he's going to be like the last one. But he is noteworthy because if you take him up to 60, that lowers his base defense up higher, which makes him hit even harder. And that really allows you to utilize this character so much better. But yeah, guys, I'm so sorry that was super long-winded. I think we're like at 30 minutes on this video, super long, and I'm going to be doing timestamps for every character. This is going to take me forever. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. You guys have been showing me a lot of love on YouTube. I do appreciate it. The channel's been growing. I've been having a lot of fun. Definitely pop into the Twitch channel, say hi, ask questions, pop into the Discord. I've been helping people left and right nonstop. We can't really do takeovers in this game. It's technically against terms of service. I am going to reach out to the developers and see if we can't figure out something to do with that, or at least make it easier for us to do them. And maybe as a sidebar allow us to do them. I don't know. We're going to see what happens with it. But I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos, and especially if you made it here to the end. Appreciate you. Love you. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace.